Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. Three different seamless patterns. This one has rounded corners. This one has square corners. And then this one was just contoured. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a square and I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. I'm going to Control D and I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees and we get that shape. Now I'm going to select both the shapes and I'm going to weld them. And that's how we get that shape. Now I'm going to make it something other than a hairline. Let's make it a little bit thicker. And I'm going to go ahead and go up to Object and convert the outline to an object so we can left click, right click, no fill. And then we're going to, let's put a star in the center this time. I'm going to start off with a six-sided star and hit P, a little bit big. Let me zoom in here. And hold down the shift key and let it grow from the center and then make it a 5-star and that'll make it in the center. So we're going to go ahead and group these together. Then I'm going to get the parallel dimension tool and I'm going to measure from the outside node to the inside node and I have 13.22. That's, you know what, let's do this. Let's make them a little smaller. And you can't really use this measurement up here because we need those nodes. So parallel dimension tool from that node, from the outside to the inside, we got 5.39. So we're going to change our nudge factor to 5.39. And then I can Control D or hit the plus key on the keyboard and see right there how they're matched up perfectly. I'd go ahead and weld it, and that gets rid of those lines. I'm just going to hit the plus key a couple of times, and then I can weld this. And it's going to get rid of all those crosshairs between and make it all one piece, and then I can make it blue. That's pretty cool. Now, I should have really done the round one. Well, I'm going to do the round one next. So let me back up here. Back to where it's a single line. Come on. Almost would have been easier just to redraw it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open up the Docker. I'm going to go to Windows, Dockers, and Corners. And see how it's already rounding the corner, but I'm going to click off of it. I'm going to get my shape tool. I'm going to hold down the shift key and select that node, that node, that node, and that node. And I'm going to round the corners off. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe, well, it's easier to type in 1. I don't know if that did that. Yep. So it's exactly the same thing. Now we make the line 24 points. Let's make it a little thicker. I'm going to go to Object, convert the outline to an object, left click, right click. So it's exactly the same thing we did, but it's an object. We don't have to scale with it, scale with object because it's not really a line anymore. And then just take your parallel dimension tool once again and go from the outside to the inside. And this time we have 4.2. Change your nudge factor to 4.2 and just nudge it over. You see those crosshairs? So the round is just basically the same thing except for it has rounded corners. And it doesn't really look like it changes much, but look at the inside of this one versus the inside of this one, where these are square corners. Now the other one is just a contour of lines. So let's go ahead and just back up to where we have our box, or just our welded line. And let's open up under effects and go to contour. Let's contour 3 times 1 inch. And we get that right there. That's pretty cool. Now go to Object, break the contour part. I would still grab it all, go to Object, Group, and Ungroup. Now let's make these lines a little thicker. and change them all to black. Well, that doesn't really matter in this case. And there's still a line. So let's go sometime convert it to an outline. That way we don't have to worry about scaling the object. Because now we can make it any size we want. Let's go ahead and group them together. Control G. Let's take the virtual segment or parallel dimension tool and go from that outside node to that inside node. We got 8.07. So it doesn't really matter what size you make it. 8.07. And then just Control D and make a duplicate. Control D, or even just hit the plus key. And then take all these and weld them, and it'll get rid of those. It'll make it all one piece, and we can make that. Let's just make it black. So we still got that. And I could have, see, I rounded the corners on the inside, but when it contoured, it kind of left them square corners because I'd picked square corners. I could have made them all round at that time. Matter of fact, let's just do that real quick. This didn't take very long. You know what? If I ever do this again, I promise you I will just make a couple of examples. So this time we're going to contour with rounded corners. And, you know, it looks pretty cool, but here's a little trick. See how that looks weird? How about if we go to the outside with rounded corners? We get, well, that's even worse. So just stay with the inside. I really like the square corners. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.